Hi everyone. In this video, we'll look at the setup for S3, the Terraform setup for S3 for our video series. Last thing, if you remember, we started off with the creation of Terraform modules, and we completed the IAM and the initial setup. Let's look at how we can set up S3 in this video. So let me quickly share my screen, and as always we would basically have the prompt sheet with us. We will try to use the already the prompts which have already worked for me, and we will use those prompts to help us in the future as well. So before we move to S3, we also need to set up the folders from where we will actually do the Terraform apply. Okay, so in this case I want to keep it tenant specific. So assuming that my own company Epicenter is the tenant, and for its dev environment we would want to have that setup in place. So let's quickly do that. Yes, so we have the tenants folder in place. Somehow it is taking it as app center. I don't know why, although I put epicenter in the prompt, but anyway we can change that. And dev environment and the dev.autotfvars. So to start with, we will have these user defined variables: environment, project, region, and the Lambda path for the two agents we are building. Let me call it insurance claims workflow. Okay, and you have a tf dot main.tf from where we will basically inject these variables and their values to the modules and the infra root folder. Okay, and inside of your infra root you have the main.tf. Currently we have only the AWS provider and the IAM module. We will add the other modules in just a bit, and the variables which have got basically projected from the dev.tf-vars. Okay, so this is what we have, which is good. Let's quickly do the provider stuff as well. It will create a provider.tf with the dependencies included. Okay, so let's wait for it to do that. Okay, so it has basically put that provider related details as well. The AWS provider section was already there in main.tf, so it has put it here, and then we have removed it from here, so it has to be there only at one place. Okay, and by the way, since we don't want the copilot to run its own show, it's always better to put in the prompt that you want only the required resources or required modules, and to follow what you are telling, and not to do things as the copilot wishes. So if you give the copilot those kind of instructions, then it only does what you tell it to do. Okay, which is what I kind of like doing, so if it helps you, you can also follow that. Okay, moving to the main.tf, we have to add the other modules as well in the file, which will link the modules to the main.tf to the actual module folder, and each of the respective resources there, which means the IAM, Lambda, S3, step functions, etc. Right? So it is just asking permission to create something. It wants to check some path, so it's asking permission to do that, so I have provided that. So hope it's not getting confused with these step functions. Okay, let me move this inside only to avoid the confusion. Okay, so I have moved the step functions folder, which actually we created for the ASL file, inside of modules, because we anyway need a step functions TF file. Okay, so I have done that. Okay, we will add a separate step functions later on when we actually come to ASL. Okay, so now let's create the basic resources we need for S3. So we will add the AWS S3 bucket and S3 bucket versioning as the resources. Those are the the resources minimally required, and we want only minimal resources added. Okay, currently. Hope this is all making sense to you. If you have any doubts or any clarifications, please put a comment, subscribe my channel, press the bell icon, if you need further notifications. I'll try to make more videos in the future. I'm looking at different document review workflows, and as you would have noticed, we basically I created a lot of videos on contract review workflow, and before that it was a more agentic AI and more technical video series. The first one was more on the overall agentic AI side, how we can do that. Okay, and then after that another series I created was more on the actual use case, which was the contract and compliance review workflow. Okay, so I think we have the things we needed. Let's quickly check the S3. Yes, so these are the two resources it created. It has created the variables, which is good, and here in variables we have these variables. Looks good, I think. By the way, these errors will get resolved once we have the Lambda Terraform settings in place, so don't worry about the existing errors, if any, you are getting right now. Okay, so I'll basically stop here for this video, because I wanted to cover till the S3 part. In the next video I will cover the Lambda, and maybe we'll try to cover step functions as well. Hope you're liking the series. We are doing everything from scratch. It gives you an idea how you can create a multi-agent workflow in AWS with step functions and Lambda as agents, and obviously Bedrock as the Gen AI service provider. Till then, next time, this is Romit signing off. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.